Welcome in to Outkick the Show, boys and girls, the greatest show on earth, where we credit people who come up with things we didn't come up with, unlike those dishonest SOBs at MSESPN. Aloha, bitches. It is almost football season, and I come to you having returned from the fertile land of Costa Rica back to America, the greatest country in the world, unless you happen to work at Google and have an opinion that doesn't fit the prevailing orthodoxy. We have lots of issues to get into here. I'm going to dive into why ESPN is a dishonest, untrustworthy, sad organization, unwilling to give credit to Outkick and to me. They will not allow my name to be uttered on the airwaves. They will not allow my name to be uttered on their website, but they will use a video from me on the website. Unbelievable move. We will talk about Cap turning down his offer sheet, where, according to the Daily Caller, he was offered $900,000, the league minimum, and turned them down. Cap's camp denies it. Spike Lee is going to protest, and I really am going to dive into this Google story and explain to you why I think it represents everything that is wrong with diversity of thought in the country today. There is no diversity of thought. All that matters is diversity of color. Everybody wants people who look different and think the same. It should be the opposite. All we should care about is difference of opinion, not difference of skin color. Cosmetic diversity is not, my friends, diversity at fucking all. All of those things we're going to dive into, but we begin here on Outkick the Show, which is presented by Oddshark. Go to Oddshark for all your gambling and informational related needs with my screed, my Jeremiah, my indictment of MSESPN. I don't know how many of you have seen it by now, but I interviewed Johnny Manziel down in Costa Rica. In fact, it was the last show that I did other than Game of Thrones on the unreliable Costa Rican Wi-Fi on this very platform, Facebook Live and Periscope. Over 100,000 of you watched that show. Over 100,000 of you watched my interview with Johnny Manziel on both Facebook Live and on Periscope. You came in and you watched and you shared it, and people reacted to it, and they understood where it had come from. I flew back from Costa Rica yesterday, and I landed, and I got on the phone with my morning show producer, Jason Martin, and I said, hey, let's make sure that we have this Johnny Manziel interview queued up to play, which we played this morning. You can go download the podcast if you haven't heard it. It's fantastic. Props to Johnny Manziel for coming on, keeping his word, hanging out with us, and discussing and answering every question that he was asked. I think he came across very well. If I were an NFL team and I watched that video, which many people will, if I were in the media and I watched that video, which many people will, I would say this kid seems like a changed guy. Is he? I don't know. We never know with athletes. We never know with public figures what's going to happen from one moment to the next. But I thought he was as honest and straightforward as you could possibly be, and what I thought was a completely honest interview from me. You can go listen to it. You don't have to agree with me. You can go listen to it. As I always say, you don't have to agree with me. You can be wrong. I'm usually right. As the King Solomon of the internet, I get almost everything correct. Okay, so you all saw it, 100,000 of you on Periscope and Facebook. Unique 100,000 of you watched it. A lot of you have since listened to it. Well, when I landed back in the United States last night in Atlanta, I got on the phone with my producer, and he said, hey, did you notice that ESPN didn't credit you in their front page story about your interview with Johnny Manziel? And I said, what do you mean? He said, you need to go check it out. So I pulled up the interview. I read it. I saw that they had a video of me, an Outkick video, the very same video that you guys all watched. I saw that it was up there. And I also saw that they didn't credit the fact that I was involved in conducting the interview. And I thought to myself, wow, this is unbelievable. You may know this, you may not know this. I'm banned from appearing on any ESPN shows. Multiple hosts that you would know across a variety of shows have said, we would love to have you on the show, but ESPN has banned you because you have been too critical of the business and because you said Bob Iger was going to run for president as a potential president against Donald Trump, the entire network, I'm not making this up, I may be the first person in the history of the network, I am banned from appearing on any ESPN show. That's despite the fact that I have tons of good friends at ESPN because of my writing about their business and my writing about Bob Iger and my calling them MSESPN. They have banned me across the entire network. They are not allowed to mention me. They are not allowed to discuss me. They are not allowed to have me on as guests. This is a true story. ESPN has banned me. Maybe the first person they've ever banned in the history of the network. I am not allowed to come on. They are not allowed to come on my show. I am not allowed to have on any ESPN employees. They are not allowed to come on to my show now, I'm told, either. This is an unbelievable edict from MSESPN. They have banned many of my friends, good friends who work at ESPN, from either having me on their show or them being able to come on my show. I am public enemy number one for the mouse, all right? They may soon ban me from being able to go to Disney World. I don't know. I told my kids, I pulled them aside. I said, you know what? Mickey Mouse hates your dad, and we may not be able to go to Disney World anymore. I don't know. I'm buying tickets. I'm thinking we're going to go right into the amusement park. That's how much they have made me public enemy number one, all right? They will not allow me to appear. But, unbelievably, they put my interview with Johnny Manziel up on the front page of their website and refused to cite us as the source. I've never seen it happen before, where they literally take an Outkick video, put it up on their website, and refuse to credit me or Outkick for the interview that took place. It's one of the most dishonest things I've ever seen in journalism. Proving how dumb so many people are in journalism, CBS, NBC, Bleacher Report, and SI all credited ESPN or TMZ for the Johnny Manziel interview. All they had to do was Google the interview itself. All ESPN had to do was say, Johnny Manziel talking with Clay Travis of Outkick the Coverage. What is that? 6 words? 6 words, and it's in there. Doesn't do any harm to them at all, doesn't cause them any difficulty, and most importantly, it's honest. Okay? That's all they had to do. And it would have had the same impact, and it would have gotten the same readership, and it would have been honest. It would have been honest from a journalistic perspective. Instead, they've declared war on me. And as a result, soon as I saw that, I went straight to our t-shirt guy, and I said, get me these fucking MSN t-shirts, MSESPN t-shirts, as soon as you can, because we are going to sell so many of them, it is going to make ESPN's head spin. I want these things in every football stadium all across the country all year long. I want ESPN executives pulling their hair out because there are people in MSESPN shirts in every stadium, in every arena, in every venue that they carry games in. I want people there on camera. I want you showing up at game day with MSESPN signs. I want to rain down holy hell, Daenerys on the top of a dragon style on ESPN and all of their properties. Because I will win. You may think the small guy doesn't win. I will win. All right? ESPN is going to bend the fucking knee and acknowledge that they are in the wrong. Just like Jon and Daenerys in the cast inside the cave, they are bending the knee. One of their executives is going to come to me, literally get on bended knee, and beg for forgiveness before I am done burning their village and pillaging it. This is going to be ugly. Mickey Mouse, he needs to turn his head away because what I'm about to do to his parent company is going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. Remember in Deliverance, I'm going to make the mouse squeal like a pig. That's what's coming. It's going to get ugly, and I think that you guys are going to enjoy the fall. And you are going to be my foot soldiers because we are going to sell so many of these shirts that ESPN, you know what they said to me recently? Somebody at ESPN said, we think that this is just a made-up controversy. We think that this whole MSESPN thing is just manufactured controversy. And I said, oh, holy hell. You have no idea about the terror I am about to rain down on your company. All they had to do, if they want to use my content, say my name. Say my name, bitch. That's all they had to do. They wouldn't do it. They wouldn't do it. And as a result, I'm going to cost them an awful, awful lot of money. And it's going to be so much fun. It is going to be glorious. It's going to be the bonfire of the vanities brought to sports. Dracaris, motherfucker. Motherfucking Caris. Look out. So, dishonest, lying, deceitful, left-wing, sharing uneven stories. You cannot trust them, and it is going to be fun watching them go up in smoke. It's coming, my friends. Let me tell you what's also coming. Money to me, because I'm going to do an ad. And I'm going to tell you all about, do you have a timeshare that you're looking at getting out of? Are you just not using it or cannot afford it? Let my friends at Magical Realty help you sell it. Magical Realty does not charge any upfront fees to sell your timeshare, only getting paid once it closes. Visit magicalrealty.com or email them at info@magicalrealty.com. They might be able to help you rent out your timeshare. If selling is not the best option, contact them today. All right. Want to tell you all about number 2 on my list. Any questions about MSESPN? Any questions about their refusal to acknowledge the content that they were stealing, about their inability and unwillingness and downright assholeness of stealing somebody's content and not giving any credit for it at all? We're going to do flags. We're going to do stickers. We are going to have every imaginable device that you can possibly buy all out there. Shirts will be ready by the start of football season. I'm planning on putting them on sale by the end of the week. I'm immediately expecting that thousands of them will be bought, and we will have them hopefully all to you by the first weekend of the football season. I will wear one Friday, the day before college football starts. College game day, sneak them in. Do whatever you have to. Rain down holy hell upon ESPN. Telling you, make it happen. Look out. And if you have a design you would see, yes, it'll be soft cotton shirts, the likes of all the Outkick shirts. I want to say this. We are expanding substantially our offerings in the apparel front. If you have shirts that you want to see, here's what I'm doing. I'm challenging all of you out there. I don't have the graphic designer on staff, all right? I want you guys to be out there, and I want you to be my designers. I will pay you $100 per design if you design one, and you'll get credit for it. So if you're a college kid and you want to be able to say, hey, look at this badass Outkick shirt I designed that Clay Travis started to sell, you send me your designs. If I email you back and flag you and say, yes, we're doing this one, I will immediately send you $100 for the design that you created, and we will make it, and you'll be able to brag to everybody, hey, I created that shirt that Clay Travis now has on his site. Anything that you think, anything associated with Outkick that we talk about on this show, that you think is creative, that you think is original, claytravis@gmail.com. Attach it. What I need is a vector file. Send that to me. If I like it, I'll respond to your email. I can look at a shirt immediately. I can immediately look at it, and I can see it, and I can be like, we're going to sell a lot of these. I know on site. I don't have any graphic design ability, but I look at it, I know on site, I'm like, yes, no, yes, no. I'm King Solomon of the internet. I have immediately almost perfect judgment. I will look at it, make a decision, and know whether or not it makes sense. Anything that you guys can design that makes sense, that looks good, I'm all about it. No, you're not going to get royalties. No, you don't get royalties. What the fuck do you think this is? I'm the one who's selling shit. I'm giving you the ability to design something and get it out there. Come on, get the fuck out of here. Royalties. What do you think this is? You think I'm a fucking MSESPN? Think I'm a socialist company? It's a work for hire. I'm hiring you right now to try to design shirts. If you want to be able to brag that your shirt got designed and it's on Outkick, then you'll be able to do that. All right? If you don't want to do it, then you can fucking work for somebody else. If you design 10 great shirts, that's $1,000. That's a lot of money for college kids. All right? Do it, bitch. God, That seems like not very much money. Well, then go the fuck work for somebody else. All right? You don't have to work for me. I'm just telling you what I'll do. That's the truth. $100 pre-tax. Yes, $100 pre-tax. That's like $75 after taxes, guy. And maybe I'll give you a bonus at the end. If you do a great job, you know what? I might fucking hire you. If you can send me like 20 great designs, I might say, you know what? Fuck outsourcing anything. I just need a genius. That's the truth. I think Nike paid like $100 for the swoosh. What do you motherfuckers think? I'm just going to pay you thousands of dollars for designing a t-shirt in 5 minutes? That's not how I got rich, overpaid for crap. That's the truth. All right, second story. The Daily Caller. And we're going to have the author of the Daily Caller story on tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. He published an article saying that Colin Kaepernick had turned down a $900,000 offer to be employed on an NFL team. TMZ has subsequently reported, according to Colin Kaepernick's camp, that they have received no offers whatsoever. This ties in with my Friday question that I asked. Do you guys believe that Colin Kaepernick maybe is trying to sabotage his own ability to get signed because he's more valuable as a martyr than he is as an NFL player? Think about this. Colin Kaepernick's girlfriend called Ray Lewis and Uncle Tom for what he did for the Ravens. Why wouldn't that same logic apply for Colin Kaepernick on an even higher level if he agrees not to protest, if he agrees to bend a knee, except not bending a knee, to acquiesce to the man for a small amount of money, relatively speaking? Isn't he then the ultimate sellout? He's taking money in exchange for his political beliefs. That makes him less valuable on a larger scale than he would be as a martyr to the league. The moment that he is signed, he becomes one of like 64 or 84 or 94 guys who are at the quarterback position on an NFL roster right now. Think about that. The moment he signs, he goes from being a revolutionary to being just another guy that's probably not going to play, that has absolutely no impact. I don't understand what he has to gain at all from signing. And so when I read this report in the Daily Caller, even though it's being refuted by TMZ, I think it actually makes sense. Colin Kaepernick's career, he's going to be 30 this fall, is basically over, right? Unless he goes out and he has an incredible performance on the field. Think of the things that can happen. If Colin Kaepernick doesn't sign, he remains a racial martyr. He's a First Amendment, absolute warrior who refused to bend to the NFL's capitalistic prowess, who refused to listen to all the people who told him he needed to behave, and he's a hero. In 5 years, MSESPN will do a 30 for 30, and this guy will be like Mahatma fucking Gandhi. He will be Martin Luther King in cleats. He will be the greatest hero in the history of mankind. ESPN will give him an infinity ESPYs. They might even name the ESPYs after him. They might just say, well, it's no longer the ESPYs, it's the Colin Kaepernicks. That's how far MSESPN will be all over Colin Kaepernick, right? That's what'll happen. But if he signs with an NFL team and becomes a backup and stands over on the sideline holding his clipboard doing nothing for an entire season, then what's his value? He has absolutely no value. He's just another dude who sold out to the man. He is what his girlfriend criticized, except worse. Ray Lewis at least was good enough to win multiple Super Bowls. Colin Kaepernick is just a dude. Think about that. And in particular, this ties in with my thoughts on this Google situation. Did you guys see this? A guy at Google got involved in Google's quest to become more diverse. Diversity and inclusion is all the rage in Silicon Valley right now. And I want you to think about this from an athletics perspective. Why do we care about diversity and inclusion and assume that all jobs need to be evenly distributed across racial groups? This is really cosmetic diversity, but I'm fascinated by this. Why do we care? If you don't know this Google story, this engineer at Google wrote an entire article discussing what he believed was fake efforts at diversity. Basically, Google is out there saying we need more women and we need more minorities in positions at Google that are significant. And my question to you is, why? Why should a company be expected to reflect what the country looks like? We don't do that in sports, right? The world is a meritocracy. In a meritocracy, people get promoted based on their talent, not based on what they look like, okay? I'm not trying to get a United Colors of Benetton ad. I'm trying to get the people who can kick ass the most. If there's a guy who I can hire him at Outkick and he's going to make me a lot of money, or there's a girl, I don't care what color they are. I don't care who they fuck. I don't care how much they drink. If you make me money, I want to hire you because we're in a competitive industry, all right? As long as you're behaving legally, I don't really care about anything else. Think about sports. Imagine if we had sports diversity hiring in the NBA and the NFL. What if we were like, wait a minute, the NFL should be 13% Hispanic instead of like 3% Hispanic. And the NFL should also be 4% Asian instead of like 0% Asian. And the NFL should be 65% white instead of 30% white. What if we took all these black guys' jobs in the NFL because they're vastly overrepresented in the world of the NFL? What if we said, hey, how come there are 64 cornerbacks in this league and they're all black? Shouldn't we have some Asian corners? Shouldn't we have some Hispanic corners? Why don't the NFL defenses look more like the color that exists in the world at large? Why are there so many black people in the NFL? Right? That would be considered a racist question by some. But diversity would suggest that black people who represent 12% of the population are vastly overrepresented in the NFL. Not to mention the NBA. Why don't we have affirmative action on the basketball court? Why aren't white guys given more opportunity? Why aren't Asian guys given more opportunity? Why aren't Hispanic guys given more opportunity in basketball? And that's a ridiculous question, right? I'm using this in a satirical, farcical manner because the answer is we assume that all these businesses are trying to put the best possible talent that they can onto the court or the field. And that your color of your skin doesn't matter at all. It's actually just a meritocracy. Well, if we assume that NFL and NBA teams are businesses, because remember, NFL and NBA businesses, once you buy a franchise, even if you run it in a crappy fashion, your franchise doesn't get taken away. The LA Clippers never won anything, right? The Cleveland Browns suck all the time. Their franchise value continues to increase, and they are highly profitable businesses because every team exists. You can't lose a franchise. There's no relegation. Yet we believe that the NBA and the NFL are insanely competitive, right? Now shift gears. Why wouldn't we assume that Silicon Valley, that Amazon, that Google, that Facebook, that Twitter, all of these companies are not also insanely competitive? That they're not trying all the time to hire the best people for jobs? Because unlike professional sports franchises, if Google hires a lot of bad people in a row, their company fails. Remember MySpace? About Snapchat. Being diverse doesn't matter when it comes to being good. Their entire business is at stake every single day. If they make bad choices and don't hire and get the best talent in spots, then they end up losing. And by losing, I mean ceasing to exist. The Browns and the Clippers franchise are continuing to increase in value even if they suck. So why do we believe that those highly competitive industries in sports are not picking people based on whether or not they are anything but the best? In other words, it's a total meritocracy. But in a much more competitive industry, we don't believe that tech companies are doing the same thing. They risk their business every day. Moreover, why is it that all these people are out there saying Colin Kaepernick deserves a job for saying something that was unpopular, but this Google engineer who lost his job for saying something that was unpopular, everybody on the left is saying, oh, he didn't deserve his job anyway? The answer is because intellectual diversity doesn't matter in this country anymore. All that matters is cosmetic diversity. We want people who look the same, look different, but think the same. This is exactly what the Google guy was writing about. He was saying, if we believe that biases exist on the right wing, shouldn't we also have to acknowledge that biases exist on the left wing? He wrote a radically moderate perspective on Google, saying, instead of worrying about being so left-wing that we alienate the right wing, shouldn't we manage to actually consider both perspectives on this situation? Instead of assuming that there are not enough women engineers because society is discriminating against them, how about assuming that there's not enough women engineers because women aren't that driven to get into engineering? I'll give you an easy example in my life. Did you know that the majority of people who graduate from law school now, including my own class back in 2004 at Vanderbilt, are women? Yet only 20% of law firm partnerships are held by women. Do you know why that is? Do you think it's because of sexism? No. It's because law firms are meritocracies, where you are judged based on how many hours you can bill. It's a grueling, draining, gritty, unlikable job in many respects. That reward is that you get paid well. I left the practice of law for that reason, because I found the billable hour to make no sense. Okay? So, is it because there's systemic discrimination, or is it because everybody's being valued entirely based on the revenue that they can produce? And if you don't bill enough hours, you produce less revenue, which means you get less work, which means you get less promotion, which makes it less likely that you're going to end up being promoted. The truth of the matter is this: America today rewards hard work, and most people don't want to work very hard. I'm not begrudging women for not wanting to work as hard as men in the practice of law. I chose to have a better lifestyle and not do the same thing as many women. I didn't want to work 2,500 billable hours a week, a year. But the men that I see who are becoming partners are willing to do that. They are the fucking Green Berets of the law. They're putting in the hours. Diversity has nothing to do with it. You know, one reason that I left and went to the Virgin Islands, when I worked one of my first summer jobs, the hiring committee came. The head of the hiring committee called me, and it was 2002, right after 9/11. It was a tough time to be getting hired, because the legal market had started to dry up a little bit because of the recession we went into after 9/11. And I got a call. And there were 10 of us that were summer associates that year. And the summer associates were from Vanderbilt, Duke, UVA. It was a big Nashville law firm. And they called me and they said, hey, Clay, we're not going to be able to make an offer to you because you're a white guy. And we've got too many white guys already at this law firm. I said, what are you talking about? They said, hey, it's nothing against you. You were one of the best people that we had here, one of the top 2 or 3, but we can only make 4 offers. The head of the committee said this. The head of the committee called me. Said we can only make 4 offers, and we already offered 1 white guy, and we're offering 2 women and 2 white women, and we also have to offer a black girl. Because if we don't offer at least 1 minority, everybody's going to say we're racist. So as a white guy, you don't get the offer. And I was like, this is real life? And he's like, I'm just telling you as straight up as I can. When we had our partner meeting, we said we got to offer girls and we got to offer a minority because otherwise people are going to say we're racist. We can't offer more white guys. We got too many white guys at this firm already. I said, but you're saying that my work product was better than the other people. They're like, totally, your work product was better. You are more qualified. We believe you will be a better lawyer, but we cannot offer another white guy at this firm because we are overrepresented in white guys. It's like, can you imagine that same logic happening at the NBA All-Star game? Can you imagine the NBA All-Stars calling up somebody being like, hey, Paul George, look, Paul George, we think you're really good at basketball, but we can't have another black dude. We can't have another black guy on the basketball court. We got to get somebody from the WNBA. We got to get a white chick from the WNBA. Our people are going to say that our basketball league is racist. I mean, that's just the truth. Can you imagine the Pro Bowl calling up and being like, hey, so Marcus Mariota, turns out, man, we got to get an Asian woman in at this year at the Pro Bowl, and it's not going to work as well for you as we would like. No. My position is you hire the best people for the job, regardless of where they're from. I believe in a meritocracy. I don't believe that anybody should get a leg up because of cosmetic diversity. Because what you end up doing is reinforcing and perpetuating the same beliefs that you already had, which is how this guy from Google got fired. Because everybody, many of whom may well agree with him, is afraid to stand up and say, you know what? I think we do a pretty good job promoting from within, and we promote the best people, and you shouldn't get diversity points at Google because you're a woman or because you're a minority. We should just hire the best people for the jobs regardless of what their background is. That's the truth. That's what I believe. That's what America should do. That's what capitalism is about. Capitalism isn't about rewarding people based on the color of their skin. And you can say, well, it's white privilege, everything else. Well, in a business, you get rewarded dollars and cents wise. If you make good decisions, then everybody gets value. This idea of diversity and inclusion, I think it's frankly bullshit. Because what it represents is not actually diverse or inclusive. It's reinforcing the already dominant worldview, which leads to a less vibrant marketplace of ideas, which leads to further challenges, ultimately befitting and befalling a company. Choose the best person. Don't worry about their background. Take the best talent. Let the meritocracy rule. So help me God, it shouldn't matter whether a company looks like America or not. It should matter whether a company is good at what they do or not. That is my rant. That is my show. My name is Clay Travis. If you like this show, share it with your friends on Facebook and on Twitter. I am one of the few people who isn't afraid to say every single day exactly what he thinks. I am my own boss. If you agree with much of what I say, then share this with your friends, because it's high time that people start to fire back and not allow the ascendance of one side to lead to totalitarian rule when it comes to the way that capitalism exists in this country. I am Clay Travis. This is Outkick the Show, presented by OddsShark. Go to OddsShark for all your gambling and informational related needs. I also want to tell you it's high time. Go download the SeatGeek app. It is college football season, and we are not trying to have a diverse collection of talent on the football field. We want the best damn team in the best damn part of the country everywhere, and you also want the best damn seats. All you have to do is go download the SeatGeek app. Go to the settings tab, click add a promo code, put in the promo code OUTKICK, and you can get the seats that you deserve, because you know what ultimately decides everything in this world? The market. If you've got the money for good seats, you can pay for them at SeatGeek. You go in, you get a seat value chart. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter where you went to school, doesn't matter how long your parents have been in this country. You know, the only color that matters when it comes to capitalism, green. And if you got the green, you can get the best seats. You can save the most money. You'll be glad that you did it. Do what I did. Use SeatGeek today. Go to the settings tab, click add a promo code, put in the promo code OUTKICK. You'll save $20 on your first purchase, and you will be ready for toe-to-meat leather and the college football and the NFL season to be here. Once more, I'm Clay Travis. Share this show with your friends. This has been Outkick the Show on Periscope and Facebook Live. I will be live tomorrow, as I always am, from 6 to 9 a.m. Eastern on Fox Sports Radio, 250-plus stations nationwide, all 50 states, plus Sirius XM Channel 83. Don't be a pussy, hashtag DBAP, and join me as we rain down holy hell on MSESPN and all of the falsely tolerant and all of the falsely inclusive and all of the falsely diverse companies in this great state of America. And by great state of America, I mean great country of America. D-Bat motherfuckers, I'm Clay Travis. It's been Outkick the Show. Listen to me tomorrow on Fox Sports Radio.